boob jobs, £300,000 on clothes, makeup and tattoos, as well as £85,000 on top of the range sports cars. Kelly.
You know what? I'm gonna let this clip describe my response.
Off is the direction you can fuck.
Hey yo, what's happening, peoples? It's your boy Blaze here, back to you with another one here for Venomous Reactions, and today we're gonna be taking a look at the dumbest lottery winners of all time. You know, I've seen it happen too many times, man, where people win the lottery and they either do two things. They either use their winnings to flip and invest, make more money, and have like constant revenue, or you go buck wild on it and spend frivolously on bullshit. And for the life of me, I just don't get it. You know, people that go out and spend frivolously and, you know, in the next minute, the next blink of an eye, they wonder why they don't have no money. Have you seen what you bought? Have you seen what you done with the money? Instead of flipping it and investing it so that way you can get more money, you decide to go berserk and, well, live the fast life with soda pop money. Unfortunately. So we're gonna see how these people became the dumbest lottery winners of all time. Should be interesting and also cringe. So without further ado, let's get it.
From accidentally throwing a £3 million lottery ticket in the bin to spending an entire $16 million prize in under 90 days. These are the absolute dumbest lottery winners of all time, beginning with Jose Antonio Cuarto, who almost lost his entire lottery fortune after getting someone else to claim the money for him. You see, when Jose won the $750,000 jackpot back in 2010, he was living in the US illegally, so Jose asked his boss to claim the prize on his behalf, as he feared he couldn't claim the money without potentially facing legal trouble and deportation. This worked out perfectly until Jose's boss began to falsely state that he was the one who had actually purchased the ticket. Taking legal action against his boss was risky, given Jose wasn't supposed to be in the country at all. However, given he had security camera footage of him purchasing the ticket, Jose did so and was able to prove that he was the rightful owner to the $750,000 prize. Only $250,000 this went to taxes, another $250,000 was spent on court fees, and throughout the legal process, Jose was jailed for drunk driving and was deported back to Guatemala as soon as he won the court case. However, at least Jose...
I mean, damn. I mean, I get why he would want someone else to claim the money. I mean, because he was here illegally, so him going in to claim the prize money, yeah, you run the risk of getting deported back, but then you basically went after your boss and won the case and you got deported anyway. So basically, you just pretty much chucked 2/3 of your winnings just trying to win your money, and you didn't even get a chance to enjoy it because soon as you won the case, you went to freaking jail. How smart was that? How smart was that, you dumbass?
Antonio Cuarto got to keep some of his winnings, as Denise Rossi wasn't so fortunate. When Denise won a jackpot of $1.3 million back in 1996, she'd been married to Thomas Rossi for over 25 years, yet their relationship was apparently lacking in transparency, as Denise didn't tell her husband about the win, and instead filed for divorce only 11 days after buying the lucky ticket. I was afraid to tell Thomas because I knew he would try to take the money away from me. I went to the Lottery Commission office and told them I was married but contemplating divorce. They told me to file before I got my first check, which I did. Denise was initially successful in hiding the money from her now ex-husband, as for a whole 2 years after their divorce, Thomas had no idea that Denise had ever won the lottery. However, in May 1999, a letter was sent to Thomas's home address, asking if Denise was interested in a lump sum buyout of her lottery winnings.
And that was a major mistake. I mean, granted the fact, I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone trying to do this, but if you try to hide money from someone you're trying to get a divorce from, don't have mail about your lottery winners come to the house. Like, no, this is why you have P.O. boxes, so that way you have your mail forwarded there. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You think your husband was not going to find out about this? He was going to find out sooner or later because you still have milk coming to your freaking house. people, they will never learn. But 1.3 mil back in 96, that would have been something to brag about. But nowadays, not so much.
This was the first Thomas knew about the lottery prize. He confirmed that Denise was a winner with the California lottery, and given they were still married at the time of the win, Thomas launched a lawsuit stating that he was entitled to half of the prize money. The judge specifically found that Denise's failure to disclose the lottery winnings constituted fraud, oppression, and malice, and as a result, the trial court awarded Thomas 100% of the lottery winnings, which left Denise with less than nothing, considering she also had to pay for her own legal fees. However, Denise's loss of $1.3 million was still nothing in comparison to Evelyn Adams. Dubbed the luckiest woman in America, Evelyn Adams became the first person in human history to win the lottery twice, initially for $3.9 million in October 1985, before winning another $1.4 million only 4 months later. With the probability of this...
Now, imagine the odds of winning the lottery twice in a row, back-to-back years. The odds of that happening is one in a trillion. I mean, basically what they just said here. 1 in 17.3 trillion. Like, the odds of that happening is pretty much impossible. But for this person to do so back in the 80s, whew, good Lord.
Win being approximately 1 in 17.3 trillion, Evelyn seemed to realize that she had no lottery luck left by stating that she was going to quit playing and instead began to buy various businesses, including the convenience store where the lucky tickets had been purchased. While you could argue that this was a smart move, Evelyn still hadn't fixed her gambling problem, and instead of buying more lottery tickets, she instead took the rest of her winnings to the Atlantic City casinos, where she lost her entire remaining fortune to the slot machines.
Yeah, when you got a gambling monkey on your back, it's hard to shake that because people with gambling addictions, they don't want to change. Like, they stay stuck in their gambling ways and they spend all their money putting into these machines and the tables. Not even realize what they're losing until it's too late. Unfortunately, that's reality.
Without any money left, her businesses failed one after the other, and by 2012, Evelyn was living in a trailer park while stating to the media, winning the lottery isn't always what it's cracked up to be. Kelly Rogers likely had a similar outlook, as after winning over £1.8 million at the age of only 16, her life was also ruined. Ew. Initially, Kelly stated, "I will not go wild and spend loads. I'm going to take some advice and see an accountant. Hopefully I will make us all comfortable. I want to help my family, but I won't change. I just want a normal home, nothing posh. I just want a normal car as well." However, as soon as she received the money, Kelly instead spent £11,500 on 2 boob jobs, £300,000 on clothes, makeup and tattoos, as well as £85,000 on top of the range sports cars.
You know what? I'm gonna let this clip describe my response.
Off is the direction you can fuck.
After making a statement like that, you go and do this. I mean, you basically spinning it on bullshit. I mean, I get the fact that she was 16. I mean, 16, that's pretty young to win such a large lump sum of money. And if you ain't got the mentality to deal with it, yeah, you're going to spend frivolously and not think about the consequences until it's too late. Unfortunately.
Spent a further £250,000 on holidays to locations including Mexico and Disney, £118,000 on gifts to former boyfriends, £190,000 in unreturned loans to friends and family members, and £50,500 on solicitors' fees, all of which being purchased while she was still in high school. Kelly did make a few smart purchases, such as an £180,000 bungalow and a £96,000 home for her mum. However, by the end of the year, Kelly was back to square one, being on welfare with only £2,000 left in her account. Ouch. She since stated, "It was too much money for someone so young. Even if you say your life won't change, it does, and often not for the better."
Yeah, I just wish I was a bit older at the time of winning it, because I think at 16 you're still just a child, and overnight you've just got to grow up and become an adult.
Which is probably...
I mean, I understand that statement, and she sounds like she's like regretting everything that she done when she won the money at that age. So hey, you got to take that L and chalk that up as a loss. Like, what can you do except learn from it and learn not to make that same mistake again?
Probably why she's now an advocate for raising the UK's legal gambling age from 16 to 18. Kelly Rogers certainly spent her money poorly. However, at least she had the chance to spend it, as 25-year-old Amanda Clayton from Detroit was no longer alive by the end of her spending spree. When Amanda won the $1 million jackpot back in 2011, it seemed as though her life had been changed overnight. However, her win quickly became controversial after the media learned that she was still collecting food stamps and benefit payments despite having won the lottery.
Detroit woman is now the second lotto winner in the state to keep taking food stamps after hitting it big. And Amanda Clayton, who won $1 million and took home a $700,000 lump sum, the 24-year-old says even though she now owns 2 homes, she figured she was still allowed to use a bridge card.
After being confronted about the behavior, Amanda had the following to say.
I thought that they would cut me off, but since they didn't, I thought maybe it was okay because I'm not working.
And shortly thereafter,
no, it was not okay. If they get notice that you came into some large lump sum of money and your account balances and certain income increase, yeah, they can either limit or cut you off. But you didn't give notice, so you thought it was still okay to use the card. People and their thinking. Lord help us all.
She was charged with 2 felony counts of welfare fraud and was ordered to pay back the $5,500 worth of food stamps she'd received.
Of course.
While Amanda quickly paid the $5,500 back, she never got the chance to spend the rest of the money, as only 6 months later she would unfortunately overdose in one of her 2 homes.
He says she was tormented by the fame and the problems that came with winning the lottery.
What's the point of having money if you're not going to have happiness?
He says she didn't want the money anymore and bought things for her family and set up college funds for her children. He says she only had $67,000 of her winnings left.
The end to Amanda Clayton's story was somewhat unexpected. However,
that sucks. I mean, the fact that she was so overwhelmed with the fame of winning the lottery, she overdosed. This is why I say, like, the price of fame ain't worth it. I mean, people risk everything to be famous. And you gotta realize, sometimes having fame is not worth losing your peace of mind or losing your sanity. People are gonna wake up one of these days and realize that, but wow.
A 2-second glance at Ryan McGee is more than enough to predict that this lottery win would eventually end in disaster. After winning £6.4 million back in 2008 at the age of 27, Ryan was placed on the Sunday Times Top 100 Rich list for young people. He purchased a luxury mansion in his home country of Ireland, which featured 5 bedrooms, an indoor swimming pool, a full champagne bar, and a 2-car garage where he kept his brand new Ferrari 458 Italia. However, as you might expect, this is where things began to go terribly. Only 3 years after buying the Ferrari, Ryan slipped off the road, crashing the car into a field, mainly because he was driving in the snow.
You are driving a luxury sports car in the snow. Did you really think you was gonna show off and not have this kind of consequence happen to you? If you thought so, I don't have to say this, my friend. You are a fucking idiot. I mean, Ferraris are not built for the damn snow. I mean, you got vehicles that are more suitable to handle the snow and handle the snowy roads. Not a damn Ferrari. If you want to show off a Ferrari, wait for the hotter seasons to come in. That's where you can show off. Not. I already have a migraine. I'm not trying to get a headache no more, but wow, that was dumb.
Locals were amazed Ryan was driving the Ferrari in that weather, especially when he had a more suitable Range Rover he could use. The Ferrari was not understood to be running on winter tyres, which, while costing around £4,400, hugely boost grip and handling in icy conditions. Ryan's property development business then dissolved, which was accompanied by a divorce from his wife and the sale of his luxury home. Then, 2 years later, Ryan McGee was pulled over driving an uninsured Ford Focus without a license. However, the most interesting part is that he had to claim legal aid, which is a service for those who are unable to afford a lawyer. Now, Ryan McGee was a complete idiot with his money. However, he still looks like Albert Einstein when compared to Martin Todt. When Martin and his wife Kay won £3 million back in 2001, they didn't go in to claim the prize because, well, they had no idea that they were winners. They'd purchased a ticket in passing, completely forgotten about it, and would only come to realize that they were the winners after hearing about the unclaimed prize over 6 months later. The main problem was that at some point, the ticket had been misplaced or thrown out completely. Despite frantically searching, the pair couldn't find their ticket, but were sure they had won because the jackpot numbers matched the ones they used every week. Computer records in their local Londis proved Kay really had purchased the ticket, and the thrilled pair rushed to tell lottery organizer Camelot to claim their prize. But they fell victim to a little-known rule, stating lost tickets must be reported within 30 days. After 45 days of deliberation, Camelot told the devastated couple that they would not be collecting the jackpot, and as a result, the couple's marriage eventually came to an end. We'd only known each other for 2 years, and the lottery ordeal quickly highlighted our differences. All we did was bicker. Sadly, both of us agreed we should split, and Kay moved out. Martin
Damn. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks that they realized they won but fell short, and they pretty much did not meet the deadline to claim a lost ticket. And not only that, not only did they not get the money, their love life, their marriage suffered in the process. You talk about a double whammy, but whew.
seems to have convinced himself that losing the ticket ended up being a good thing, having stated, "For a long time I lost sight of who I was and what I believed in, but I can honestly say I'm glad I didn't get the $3 million now. There is no guarantee it would have brought me happiness, and if there's anyone else who would have agreed with this statement, it definitely would have been the most miserable lottery winner of all time, William Post. When William won a $16.2 million jackpot back in 1988, he had just $2.46 in his bank account and was able to purchase the lucky ticket by selling a ring for $40 to a local pawn shop. This, in conjunction with the time he'd spent in jail for cashing invalid checks, highlighted William Post's awful money management skills and acted as foreshadowing for how poorly his lottery win was eventually going to be spent. Only 84 days after receiving the $16.2 million, William Post had spent the entire fortune on a boat, a lease for a restaurant in Florida, a used car lot, as well as a private jet. However, even after all of the money had been spent, Post took on a further $500,000 loan to purchase a mansion in Oil City, Pennsylvania. The problem was that William hadn't actually purchased the original ticket himself and had rather given the money to his girlfriend who had bought the winning ticket for him. Because of this, she was able to successfully sue him for 1/3 of the winnings, meaning that Post now owed $5.4 million to his ex-girlfriend from the $16.2 million that he no longer had. Since Post was unable to make this payment, the judge ordered that his bank account be frozen until he was able to come up with the money. However, before he was able to sell enough stuff to pay the $5.4 million, William was arrested and ordered to serve a 6 to 24 month prison term for an assault charge from 6 years prior. Toward the end of his life, Post was on his 7th marriage with over $1 million in debt and was getting by on food stamps at a job paying $450 per month. However, William Post still doesn't have the craziest lottery win story of all time. That title goes to Andrew Jackson Whitaker, whose life would change forever after winning $315 million back in 2002.
Let me win 300 million something in the lottery. Oh, majority of that is going into investments. And then after that, a small percentage of that is going to be my fuck off money. You think I'm not going to go too crazy with fuck off money? Like a good, you know what? Let me rephrase that. A good 5 to 10% of my winnings, if I would have won that amount of money, definitely would be my fuck off money. The rest is being ported to something that could bring me constant revenue. But I can't wait to see how he fucked this off.
Unlike almost everyone else in this video, Whitaker was actually quite successful prior to winning the lottery, having built up a net worth of over $17 million with the assistance of his construction company. And while this would imply that he was in a position to manage a large lottery win, this isn't what would happen. Whitaker instantly donated 10% of the winnings to churches, Christian groups, and spent a further $14 million establishing the Jack Whitaker Foundation, which provided free food and clothing for low-income families in West Virginia.
Obviously, you're doing God's work with all this money.
Yes, I am. I'm helping a lot of people, and I plan to help a lot more.
He then drove back to the convenience store where he had purchased the ticket before giving the clerk a $44,000 check, a $123,000 house, and a brand new Jeep Cherokee, which was followed by Whitaker buying himself a Lamborghini, in which he'd drive around his neighborhood throwing money out of the window. After flaunting this wealth, his Lamborghini was broken into, where thieves stole $545,000 in cash. However, this apparently wasn't much of a wake-up call, as his car—
Why would you keep that much money in your car in the first place? Knowing the fact someone may have saw you in that Lamborghini throwing money out like it was nothing. I swear these people on these lists is getting dumber and dumber. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, what the hell?
Car was then broken into for the second time, resulting in the loss of a further $200,000 cash. Jack Whitaker's granddaughter passed away, his daughter then passed away, which was followed by a divorce with his wife.
And now you've lost your granddaughter. You're about to be divorced from your wife. Where does this ever end?
Leading him to state that he had lost everything.
I pretty much lost everything I held dear in my life.
You got lots of money.
Money has never meant anything to me. You have to have money to exist in this world, but money doesn't rule the world. Money is not what makes people happy.
And that he wished he had never purchased the lottery ticket in the first place.
My wife had said she wished that she'd torn the ticket up. Well, I wish that we had torn the ticket up too. I just don't like what I've become.
Damn. To have people pass away in your life and you're on your way to being divorced from your wife, and you have all the money in the world and yet you're still not happy. Well, you pretty much lost the very things that made you happy. I mean, money, that's just living proof that money does not guarantee happiness. Like, true, you may need money to survive, but does it give you happiness? No. It provides the false happiness, if anything. Because times are proven, even the rich can be unhappy. I mean, they have all the money and the power in the world, but they're not happy with themselves from within. But whew, I gotta say, some of these people on this list is, I just don't understand why you would spend frivolously and not learn to invest. And you wake up within the blink of an eye and you wonder where the money went. Look at how you've been spending it. And and it's one of those lessons you don't learn until it's too late, unfortunately. And that one person that passed away before she can enjoy the rest of her winnings, that hurts. Because even though she did have some money left, I mean, she basically overdosed over the fact of being famous for winning the lottery. And that's another thing. The price of fame is pretty high, and it could cost you everything, including your life. Well, wow. I don't know what else to say about this one, except thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this one, and don't forget to tell your peoples across the globe. Come kick it with your boy just one good solid time, and you already know what to do next, man. Follow your boy on social media right over yonder. And this is your boy Blaze here saying check that deuce, and I will see y'all in the next video. And I'm out.